possibility. Not required, but
yeah. That makes sense.
Then through you, Madam Chair, if I added this to say that they shall provide this police detail or coordinate with the police department to provide police details that may be required for the first 6 months of operation and between Memorial Day and Labor Day thereafter.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah.
just to cover our bases.
Sure.
Yeah.
It also leaves it a bit open-ended that if the police chief finds that there just isn't this great demand in, say, February, it could certainly be relaxed or just within the chief's discretion.
Right. That's why I like the fact that it's at the discretion of the police.
Okay. The next one is the applicant shall provide a shuttle service to transport its employees to and from the site to minimize the demand for employee parking spaces, particularly during the peak summer business season from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Okay. Next is applicant shall not erect any signage on the property with the exception of signage to designate handicap parking spaces, employee parking spaces, 10-minute express pickup parking spaces, and 30-minute parking spaces, which signs shall be 8 inches by 12 inches in size and shall be installed consistent with the materials provided to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Further, applicant shall cause to be removed existing roof-mounted signs for the South Wellfleet General Store and the local produce patch. And then this, I think Member Morrissey and I were thinking similarly. I went so far as to also say, as well as the ground sign for the South Wellfleet General Store, the Coca-Cola sign. I do recognize, however, that that might be something that the applicant does not have control over. I don't know the answer to that, so I'll ask the board whether you want me to keep that in as a condition or whether I add some language that says to the extent that the applicant has control over the same, shall cause that to be removed.
I think that makes more sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I agree with that.
It wouldn't be fair to require the applicant to do something that the applicant doesn't have the power to do.
Correct. Okay. Then nothing in this condition shall prohibit applicant from installing window films or artwork on its windows or door for identification purposes. In no event shall any signage, window film, artwork, or similar means of identification include the words marijuana, cannabis, or similar language that would identify the type of facility or nature of business carried on therein. Applicant's windows shall be tinted or covered with a special film so that products shall not be visible from the outside. Something that was discussed at the hearing back in March was a right turn only during certain hours out of the site. I think I left that meeting with the impression, however, that that was not something that was favorably received.
Right. I don't think anyone wanted that to happen.
Okay, I will delete that.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
do we need to somehow make sure they don't do that? Do we need to say at no time will they advise customers to make a right turn only out of the park?
I don't think so. I think that they really didn't want to do that to begin with, and we're hoping that it was something that the neighbors would like, and it turned out to fail miserably. So they wanted to mitigate. They were trying to mitigate, and it didn't work as a mitigation factor. So.
And continuing, the next one I had was applicant shall comply with the regulations promulgated by the Cannabis Control Commission, including but not limited to security, restricting access to individuals 21 years or older, requiring a valid identification to enter the premises, and proper disposal of waste and marijuana products. Next one I had was within 6 months of commencing operations, applicant agrees to fund in whole or in part, a feasibility study for traffic and safety improvements within the Route 6 right-of-way in an amount as determined by the Select Board. And a copy of the feasibility study shall be provided to the Zoning Board of Appeals, who shall hold a public hearing on same and determine whether additional traffic or safety measures should be implemented at this property and incorporated into this decision.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. The next one is that lighting shall be installed on the property in accordance with the applicant's lighting plan dated 4/25/2020. Applicant shall install ADA compliant wheelchair ramps at all pedestrian crossings internal to and serving the project site.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I just got a text from Mike that he had to reset his computer monitor and he'll be here in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
I know I had to do the same thing with mine.
Okay. We can wait it out a couple more minutes.
I had to reset my audio. I was very proud of myself that I didn't panic.
Good work.
I just channeled my inner Courtney.
Hi, Christina.
Hi, Helen.
Looking at maybe getting some more chicks in about a week. I've got a broody hen, so since you asked, that's the status.
It's exciting.
I love it. It's just a lot. It's lots of chores, but I like them, and they're
It's like
funny.
children with feathers.
Yeah.
They have to be.
No.
They have to eat.
They talk back.
Do they?
They have minds of their own. No educational costs. I don't have to dress them.
And they give you eggs.
And manure. That's what's really important. You know, I miss being in the same room with you guys, however that feels sometimes, you know, it's real and it's so strange. I haven't seen any of you in real life for months. I ran into Janet one time at the post office, but that was months ago, Janet. It's just all very strange. Okay. It's what we've got.
I actually like seeing everyone's face at the same time.
Oh, me too. Me too. That's, you know, I've said that to a couple of people when they say, well, do you mind the Zoom meetings? And we get to look straight at each other. I'm trying to figure out, I don't like sitting as close to the screen, but.
There's a lot of nonverbal communication in someone's face, and I feel like it makes the meetings communicate more with each other.
Yes, you can see me rolling my eyes.
Exactly.
Making, this kind of face. Yeah, I've got to stop making faces. Yeah.
Too late now.
Oh, God. Where is our fearless leader?
He said he had to redo his monitor, so
Okay.
it's always hard to do those things under the gun.
Yeah. Hi, Bruce.
Hey. Can everybody hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that. I just had no Wi-Fi for a minute. Hold on one second. Okay, so it is 11:05 a.m. on Tuesday, July 7th, and I call this meeting to order of the Wellfleet Select Board. First, we have announcements, open session, and public comments. Does anyone have anything?
I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Okay. Let's pass this. All right. Okay. On to the next item is review and approval of M.A. Fraser contract for portable restrooms. So does anybody have any comments about this? Anybody like to talk about it? Or has everyone reviewed it and ready to take a vote on it?
I have some questions. I am having trouble accessing my participant screen, so I didn't raise my hand. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Helen.
Okay, am I recognized? Yes.
You are recognized.
Okay, couple things. Thank you. Through you to Dan or Mike Travato or whoever can answer this. I'm sure this all makes sense, but I don't get it. Why is this contract through March? Why not? Why do we need these porta potties and hand washing stations through March? Why is it not through, for example, just October? And the sort of the companion question to that is the town hall restroom open in winter? It's not heated, is it? So let's start with those two questions, please.
This is Dan. The restrooms, the portable restroom contract has always been through March 31st. Basically, that starting on April 1st is basically the start of the season again. So we've always been niggers.
It's the start of the third. We're each coming back to kill all the niggas and the bloggers and the dudes.
Niggas, let's do it. Let's do it.
Nigga.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
One who signs, or do you take a vote to authorize just one of you to sign?
Typically, we have, I typically sign because typically we've read the decision here, which as we did tonight. So I think that it's probably, I don't need a vote to sign it, but I can certainly take one.
Do we have to move to accept the special permit? No?
We did that.
You did.
Fell asleep there for a minute. You moved
Actually, you made a motion.
But just to be safe, I need a motion that I can sign the findings.
So moved.
All right. That Janet moved second. Second, Manny. Will?
I vote aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Retha?
Aye.
And Manny?
Aye.
Do I have to vote? I'm aye also. Okay, very good.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, what we are going to do now.
you want me to call Helen? I don't see her name up here.
Maybe somebody can send Helen a message that she can.
Yeah, I'll call her.
She probably just is waiting to hear from someone.
Yeah.
I'm on the phone with Helen now.
Okay. So while we're waiting, how does that happen? And who in the world does it? Like, how does
Janet, first of all, we're live. And second of all, I can explain it in an email.
Okay.
Okay.
Mailbox is full and not accept any messages at this time. Goodbye.
Looks like we have one chat. Yeah, okay. There's a link, Courtney, in the chat here. I don't know if you
I'm gonna disable the chat. Please don't anybody do anything, okay?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I'm trying to talk to Helen and do this.
Okay, thank you, Courtney.
Helen, are you able to get into the waiting room? Okay, Helen is back in. There's a person in the waiting room who I don't recognize, so I'm just not gonna go.
Okay. Helen, back on?
Mike?
Yep.
Mike.
So Dan was responding.
So I had my questions. Shall I repeat my questions?
I don't think that's necessary. Dan was on the line, and if he doesn't answer it, then you can ask him to clarify something.
So the beach administrator has always preferred to have the contract reflect the season, and that's why it goes through March, considering that April 1st is the start of basically the next year's season. So that's the reason the contract goes through March 31st. And the second part about the town hall restrooms, I'd have to check with DPW, with Public Works from them to see what the story is with them.
Yeah, okay. And then can we have a look at, I guess there's nobody from the DPW here, but I see that Suzanne Grapp Thomas is here, so maybe she can answer this. What is the cost effectiveness of paying an outside service to clean the public restrooms after the season is over? In other words, this is a hugely expensive contract, and particularly to my mind, because for the 9 months starting on July 1st, let's say, it's $23,461 and a few cents per month. And yet November, December, January, February through March, why do we need porta potties? I mean, that's really expensive. And it's not as if the virus is going to go away, but the crowds and the needs to have outdoor porta potties in the middle of winter seem to me very different in December and January, February. I'd like to know a little more about this, because this is $200,000+ for 9 months.
Dan?
Yeah, if I might, Mike.
Yep. Go ahead, Suzanne.
Couple of things. There is a schedule of portable toilet beginning and ending dates. That's part of the bid process. And the only portable toilets after the summer, which is basically a week after Labor Day, are those at Baker's Field and one at Powers Landing for the shellfishing community. And previously one at the Wealthy Elementary School fields for fall soccer games. I would say at least 95% of this cost is focused on July and August through Labor Day this year.
Mike,
So
may
it
I
isn't
respond?
a per month cost, it's a per unit per day cost. And as I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me, but those are the reasons.
Does that answer your question, Helen?
Yeah, well, it does. I was looking at this schedule that came, attachment A with a contract, and I do see that it's per day. But I guess my last question, I hope, is how effective are the hand washing stations required? Wouldn't it be better just to have a Purell dispenser? Would that be more expensive? I assume it would be it would be more difficult to have that refilled as often as it would have to be. But do people use the hand washing stations? I mean, what is the
Absolutely.
logic?
They're refilled almost daily. The water in them is refilled almost daily, and the paper towel is refilled in them almost daily. So people are definitely using the hand washing stations. And I don't know if Hillary is on this call, but this was a need that was identified as part of the COVID-19 response. And as it's a brand new need. We've never had them before, but that is why they're out there this year.
Okay, that's a nice, clear question, and I'm satisfied with that. So then a question to Dan.
Hold on, Helen. One more question, and then I'd like to get the rest of the board to be able to talk.
Yeah, and then I'm done.
Okay.
Yes, Mike.
Go ahead.
I appreciate that. So the question to Dan is, Dan, this is clearly these extra porta potties like the porta potties that are not at the beaches. Well, some of the beaches like Newcomb Hollow and so forth, where we have public restrooms, and at Town Hall, they're there just because of COVID. Is that going to come? Are we going to get payment? Can we get money from the state or FEMA to pay for these extras?
There's a strong likelihood that we could be reimbursed for the additional cost of the portable restrooms.
Okay, and how much over? This is way over what the usual contract is, right?
Last year the contract was $42,000, and this year the contract is $211,000.
Thank you very much, and Mike, thank you for letting me get through that.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything to say? I guess before I move on, I just also to another board member, I'd just like to say that this was an RFP that came out, and part of the reason why the portable restroom increase is because our bathroom facilities are very old, not necessarily very what's it called? Sorry, well ventilated, and that there's aerosol issues involved with flushing, which is the reason why this was put forward, to have so many portable restrooms. Okay, anyone else on the board?
Ryan had his hand up, and then Justina.
Okay, Ryan, you can go first.
All right. I have a couple of questions. One is that, yes, like the beach bathrooms, they're really old and outdated. But some of these units are being located in areas where the bathrooms are in better condition. And I'm wondering if those other locations, like the town hall, were evaluated for the pre-existing bathrooms rather than having this additional expense of per diem for the porta potties. The second question is the majority of these will basically be September 7th is the end date. Will any of the beaches or other locations require bathrooms extending out past September 7th? Those are my two questions.
Does Suzanne or Dan want to speak to that?
So I can answer the first part of the question regarding, using permanent restrooms versus portable restrooms. The state made it very difficult for us in that for quite some time they were recommending the use of portable restrooms. The Department of Health at the state level was recommending the use of portable restrooms. They dropped that recommendation, but very late in the game. And at the time when they dropped the recommendation that they said you can do either, it was too late for us to switch gears and instead of asking for a portable restroom contract alone, ask for a portable restroom contract for some of the restrooms and ask for a cleaning contract for the remainder of the restrooms. So somewhat due to the state's late decision to say that you could go with either, we had to make that decision and stuck with using portable restrooms for this fiscal year.
And Suzanne, do you know about bathrooms after the end date? I imagine that the use of the beach restroom facilities necessary goes down quite a bit after Labor Day. So
traditionally, the DPW leaves the bathrooms open until Columbus Day weekend. And I think because the state is now comfortable with either or, and because Whitewater has come in and the water has been tested already, that we could easily remove the portable toilets on the 7th, or they will be removed on the 7th, and then open the traditional bathrooms to the general public for the month after that. However, there will be a new protocol for sanitizing. So I'm not even sure if you can sanitize elderly concrete block construction, but the DPW will do its best.
Okay, thank you.
Justina? You're muted, Justina.
Sorry about that. That better?
Yeah, that's great.
I just want to say a couple of things. I think this is an excellent contract and I support it. It's been through the procurement bidding process. It came in lower than the competition. The emergency management team has had to work on it. Suzanne, Dan, and so forth. We're lucky to have a local vendor. A lot of towns have had problems getting porta potties and problems getting up to speed with COVID. And I will point out that it's July 7th, and it's important this contract be put in place so the vendor has, can do business. And I think this contract is the result of a lot of hard work on the part of the vendor and our emergency management team and our town administrator, and I'm delighted to sign it, to approve Dan signing it.
Okay. Anyone else have anything else on this?
Yes, Helen?
Helen, let me see if anybody else that on the board hasn't spoke yet, Helen.
Certainly.
Janet, do you have anything? Okay. I think it's Janet trying to unmute herself.
Yep, I just did.
Okay, go ahead, Janet.
Okay, so no, I don't have much to say. I agree with what Justina said. I will add that over the weekend, someone told me at Duck Harbor how amazingly clean and surprised she was. She's never used a porta potty before or a hand washing station, and she was overjoyed with how nice both of them were. So Good job.
Okay. And Helen, one more if it's new, please.
Of course it's new, otherwise I wouldn't say.
Just
Thank you.
stating the obvious. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Helen.
you don't have. So Dan, Justina said this was the lowest bid, and yet the note from Mr. Fraser said that there was another bid and it was lower, but I'm assuming that all things considered, this is the most responsible and preferable in terms of qualifications bidder. And we only got 2 bids, right?
Dan?
Hi.
Or Mike?
There was one other bid. The bid was in the $237,000 range. The other bid was higher.
Oh, it was. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Thank you. And I agree with Justina and Janet, and have heard good things about the maintenance of these facilities. I'm ready to sign.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I will. Does somebody want to make a motion? Janet, you're muted.
So good. Okay, I move to accept and sign the contract from M.A. Fraser for the dates listed for the bathrooms and hand washing stations.
Is there a second?
Helen, second.
Mr. Chair, if I may interrupt for 1 second.
Sure, Dan.
If you all can get in fairly quickly and sign the contract, that would be great. If you prefer and want to authorize me to sign the contract on your behalf, that might be quicker.
Yeah, that would be fine with me. I don't know how the rest of the board feels about that, but I'd be fine with having you sign to speed it up.
Shall I make a motion?
Well, just a second. So I would agree. If it makes it easier for you, then you can sign for me too, all of us.
So basically your motion would be to authorize the town administrator to sign the contract on your behalf.
Yes, I move that we authorize the town administrator to sign the contract with Fraser LLC or whatever it is. Use the technical term for their company, please, on behalf of the select board. Second, we need a second.
Second, I'll second it.
Helen, aye.
Janet, aye.
Michael, aye. We've got some muted people.
Brian, aye.
Sorry, who seconded that?
I did.
No, yeah, I did.
Justina, do you want to vote? She says aye.
Justina's aye.
Okay, Chair, Mike, Chair, Mr. Chair, we didn't vote on the first motion.
No, because we authorized the town administrator instead.
Yeah, but we have to approve the contract.
Okay.
So,
I think that we just did that, but if you want.
No,
Isn't signing the contract approving it?
Nope. Appointing the town administrator is what I just moved to sign on our behalf.
Oh, I see. Thank you, Helen.
Yeah, there's a motion on the floor, and I seconded it. So did Justina. So Courtney can take her pick. And we're voting on the first motion that was made about the contract, to approve the contract. And so I'm going to vote on it. Helen, aye.
Janet, aye.
Justina, aye.
Brian, aye.
Michael, aye. Okay. And that's it for this meeting. We don't have topics for future agenda, but if anybody has something that they want on the next agenda, you can email it to Dan. We have a light agenda right now. Yeah, just let me know through the town administrator and Courtney. And we can figure out what can go on there. Otherwise, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Helen, aye.
Janet, aye.
Justina, aye.
Brian, aye.
Michael, aye. Okay, thank you all very much.
Mike DeVasto, I emailed 3
Remember?
We're going to, but I don't think we need to do that to close the hearing, or do we? Carolyn?
Yes.
Do we